What's going on, everybody? My name is Ben and welcome back to the bench for another episode here on Ben Builds. As you can see, guys, I do not have a MiG-15 here in front of us, and that is because last week I got sick. Got some weird flu cold thing, and it actually put me out for about 4 days, and I lost my voice. So you can kind of still hear it a little bit in there, and I apologize for that, but I'm getting there. I'm getting better, almost back to 100%. And I thought instead of doing anything here on the MiG and just forcing some content, we'd take a little bit of a break and we'd have some fun with a stash update. So let's go ahead and get started. Now our first kit here on the bench, something I've really wanted to build for quite some time. This is a 1/48 scale J7W1 Shinden, put out by a company called Zukimura, their SWS or Super Wing series. And it's supposed to be a super nice model. It's supposed to be really well detailed and have a lot of options in it. And I've always wanted to build one. I got this at a really nice discount online. So I thought, let's just grab it and check it out. So let's go ahead and jump into the box here and take a quick look at some of the parts. Now you'll first notice I have a set of Edward cloth belts in here. That does not come with it. These are something I purchased after the fact, but the parts themselves, man, these things look beautiful. A lot of areas have very thin recessed panel lines. We have some raised details, some rivet markings. We have an open and a closed canopy depending on what you want to do. We have a full internal system of trusses and spars, the whole 9 yards here, guys. We actually build the center section of the aircraft, including the engine, the wheelbase, all of that goes together into the main center section of the aircraft. And then we have all the parts and pieces that are put on top of that. It's really quite complicated and it looks super fun, but I have no idea how it fits because I've never actually built this kit before or any kit from this company. But fully detailed gun compartments, cockpits, wheelbase, and engines, it looks like this is going to be a really fun model to make. These were prototype aircraft. They never actually saw combat, so we won't really have a lot of markings, but I will say that we can also probably paint them on because they are pretty simplistic, so that actually might work to our advantage. Jumping into the actual meat and potatoes here of the instruction manual, you see we start off with the engine and we put every single part together. All the different cylinder banks, all the different exhausts. We have the full cockpit as well. We have all the gun compartments. We have each individual gun placed up inside plus ammo containers, and you can do a ton of detail with this. You could really make this thing look awesome. I'm actually very excited to go ahead and see what I can do with this particular model. I've always wanted to build a Shinden and I've never built one in 1/48 scale, so I think this is going to be a really nice candidate. Let's get you a quick close-up here of the parts. As you can see, the detail here is very nice. Crisp, clean, I think fairly accurate, but I'm not 100% certain because I'm not an expert on the Shinden, so I don't really know how accurate these are, but you can see all the little details here on the gun breeches as well for the cannons. Instrument panel looks good, side consoles look good. Another even close-up detail here, you can see all the switches and the dials. They've really done quite a bit of work here getting this thing looking the part. Now how this will all go together, I have no idea, but I'm going to be optimistic because, well, it looks like a really nice kit. And honestly, it's like that for almost every single part here on the model. I don't see any flash, I don't see any issues with short shot parts or anything. Wonderful detail for the inside of the cockpit. The exterior cladding of the wings is nicely recessed panel lines with a little bit of very careful riveting. So it looks great. I can't wait to go ahead and give it a try. And again, this was a prototype aircraft, so it never saw any combat, so the weathering would be actually pretty simple. On the outside of the box, you can see what I'm talking about. You build the entire skeletal structure of the aircraft, and then you go ahead and put on the outer cladding. You've got the engine you can expose as well to give you a really cool look. You can do some great looking stuff with the diorama. It's an awesome looking kit. Can't wait to build it. Moving right along here, guys, we have a second model here for you. This is actually something much more modern than our last one. This is a 1/48 scale Academy Rafale C. This is a French multi-role fighter, and it's a modern jet. I don't really have a lot of modern jets in my stash, but I have a few that I really like. One, of course, now is the Rafale. I've always wanted to own a model kit of this, so let's go ahead and pop into the box and check it out. It is Academy, and I've built plenty of Academy kits over the years. They are usually pretty decent, sometimes a little bit of a hit, sometimes a little bit of a miss, but for the most part, I think they're a good bang for your buck. Now, I don't know anything about the details here on the Rafale. I don't know if this is correct or incorrect, so that's going to take a little bit of research, but I think we can go ahead and get some good references and move on from there. Now, the decals themselves are printed by Academy. They're not designed by Academy, but they are printed by Academy, so that could mean that these could be terrible or they could be fantastic. I honestly don't know. It's a newer kit, so I'm guessing they're going to be pretty decent and they'll probably go together well. Give you a quick close-up here. You can see the parts are extremely finely detailed. We've got, of course, rivet lines, you've got panel lines, you've got axis panels, a little bit of raised detail here and there. For the most part, though, very clean recessed panels. Beautiful plastic, smooth, clean. I don't see any flash. I think it's going to be a really nice build. I'm not sure if the ejection seat is absolutely correct. I don't know much about the Rafael, but I'm going to go ahead and dive into some references and do a little research, and I might want to replace that, but everything else looks really, really nice. 1/48 scale Academy Rafael. It'll really match well with my Mirage 2000 when eventually I get around to building that too. Now for our last model kit here for our stash update, I actually bought this for a very specific reason. I bought this for a group build being hosted over at HobbyLink International. It is the Korean War group build, and it's running for, I believe, the entire year, so I've got plenty of time to jump in. But I really wanted to choose something that wasn't a jet, so I selected this right here. This is a 1/48 scale Airfix Supermarine Seafire FR-46-47. This is the last of the production line Seafires to actually serve in combat. And we're going to be doing the Mark 47 with the contra-rotating propellers. So that is something new. I've always wanted to build one, so I thought let's just grab it and see what we can do. Now I got this off of eBay, so as you can see from the inside, man, we have a ton of extra parts. We've got masks. We've got an entire resin set for the Seafire. You can see all the details, and this is awesome, amazing detail. We also have an extra seat for some strange reason, even though we do have one in the actual resin set, so that's kind of interesting. We also have a replacement set of the exhausts and the top of the cowling, and we have some vacuform squadron canopies that we could also replace this kit canopy with. Now, I don't know if I'm going to use these. I'm not a real big fan of vacuformed stuff, only because I find it a little bit more difficult to work with, especially removing it off of the carrier sprue. That's always tough to do. But if I want to, I have this extra one, and we might use it, we might not. I don't know. But I definitely will see us using those resin upgrade parts, especially for the cockpit and for the top of the cowling. So as you can see, we have a lot of upgrade parts, and I absolutely am floored that I got the entire internal set and all the masks and all the canopies. I got this all for actually pretty cheap on eBay. Super happy, can't wait to go ahead and build it. Now I did mention I'll be doing a Korean War era version. That's this one right here from, I believe it's 800 Squadron. And this is one of the last units to actually operate the Seafire. If I remember correctly, by the time they finished their Korean tour, there was like maybe 2 Seafires left that were actually still working. All the rest of them got pulled out of combat either due to damages or crashes or just being war weary. Now again, I don't know much about the Seafire. I do have a book on it and I'm going to read up on it, but I wanted to go ahead and just give you guys a quick look at what I will be building for that. I do intend on jumping in on the Korean War group build, and I do intend on building this awesome looking Seafire. I cannot wait to go ahead and just crack into this one. Now on the plastic itself, it says that these are made in 1996. So you can kind of tell this a little bit of an older mold. We have a little bit of flash here and there. It's not too bad though, if I'm honest. A little bit of areas here and there could use some extra work, and that's of course why we have the resin parts. The seat itself looks basically nothing like it actually should, so that's good. We have the replacements. All the detail will be scraped off, and we'll add in the nice new resin detail, and I think this is going to be a pretty fun little project. We have a lot of really good potential here in this kit, and I cannot wait to go in and give it a try. So again, Airfix 1/48 scale Supermarine Seafire FR-46 and 47. That's what we're going to be building for the HLI Korean War group build. And eventually I will jump in on this one, probably wait until after the MiG-15 though. So that's going to be fun, guys. Look for that coming up in a couple of weeks, I'm pretty sure. Of course, as long as we finish off that MiG, we can jump on this one and we can start having some fun with some propellered aircraft. But for right now, that's all, guys. That's all I wanted to do. I want to give you a real quick look at a couple of kits we picked up. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to hopefully get back on the MiG next week, and I might have a video up for you guys on Monday. We're going to take it slow getting back into it though, because that MiG it's fighting me. It really is. I know Joe is absolutely convinced that the curse of the MiG is real. It actually got me sick. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. Who knows? I know that MiG is tough and it's definitely fighting back. But stay tuned for next episode there. We're going to jump back on that MiG, plus more sci-fi stuff coming at you. Got a couple more builds I would love to jump in on. So until then, you know the drill. Go out there, get yourself some bench time, have some fun, build something cool, and we'll see you back here on the next episode of Ben Builds for more modeling adventures. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you soon.